right, so I'm here in Tiruvannamalai in India, and today I'm talking with a man who is a proponent of dry fasting. Now, dry fasting is when you fast. You don't take any foods, but dry fasting, you don't do any foods or any water and no liquids whatsoever. So it's literally like dry. Now, he says that this has helped him and worked for him. He teaches other people now also how to dry fast, and I want to know what you think about this. Do you think it's possible to not have any food or any drinks and be healthy and kind of have that help you in some point? So it's a fascinating concept for me. I was so excited to sit down and talk with him about this, and let's see. And by the way, make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. There's a lot coming up here in India. Also later I'm going to Europe, so there's a lot to come. Stay tuned.
We have to be careful with this because dry fasting can have side effects. It's not in my world, but if the wrong people hear this, like Dr. Spock or somebody, you may analyze him, put it into another frame of mind or something.
Okay, so I'm here with Kali Baba. Now, when I sat down, I told him that I wanted to interview him. We met at this restaurant. I'm in Tiruvannamalai here in India, and we were chatting about actually spirituality and how it's become kind of commercial in India. That's going to have to be a separate talk, because as we started chatting, I'm setting up the camera and getting everything ready. He starts telling me about this dry fasting that he's doing, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, commercial spirituality. Okay, we could deal with that later. I'm going to move this to get you in the frame a little bit more. What is dry fasting? How are you doing it? What is this loud music that has started?
Is that him? Paisa, thank you.
Thank you so much.
We're doing an interview.
All right.
That's okay.
Yes, we've gotten that resolved. Okay. So
are we online here?
It's not live.
Okay.
But we're on. So tell me about, okay, what is dry fasting?
I tell you what it is. It's a way I do it because of how can I say fear. Fear. It's a lot of people are holding fear in their lives, not being able to go forward. Kali Baba is no gender, no male, no female, absolutely none. I don't particularly care to be a man, and I don't particularly care to be a woman. I never look at myself. I look at you, I become a woman. The fear factor of going beyond yourself to understand things. If you do anatomy one, physiology one, pathology one, you'll find getting into 7 or 8 days with a professor at UCLA, which I did for 1 year, medical school, and they said you're brain dead. You go in the Grand Canyon, no food, no water. It's absolute nonsense.
So
it's the opposite.
So dry fasting is no food, no water.
And carry on doing your thing.
Wow, like it seems impossible.
My 3 eldest sons now. My oldest son's an investment banker. The second one is a choreographer in the music, and he does all stuff for the big ones, like Rihanna and Black. He's behind that. And then the third one is more mercenary. He works with people like security.
Right.
They're now 67 days into a fast.
67 days into a dry fast.
I did 88 days. My wife did 144 days. It's very, very possible.
It feels impossible. Now
everybody says it because
it feels impossible.
It's not. Actually, you go back in time. You know the history in the past. It's an Aztec technique that's given so that you realize that you don't need to eat and drink.
So you think it's more, okay, I have so many questions. So
it's best probably to talk to me before you ask, because you don't know what to ask me.
No, but I want to ask everything, so we're just going to try to get to as much as possible. So, but why did you even set out to do this?
Cancer.
And you feel that this was successful for you?
Completely.
So how long were you dry fasting while you had cancer and then felt better?
15 days, 15 days, 15 days, 15 days, 3-day break, 15 days, 3-day break. That was the direction I was given to by my Guruji, who is very young, by the way.
I just want to make it clear, we're not giving anybody advice. I'm certainly not. He's telling his experiences. not telling anyone.
I'm definitely not giving anybody any advice anyway.
I just no, I know. That's why I want to make it clear so that people don't say, "Oh, you told me to." No. Sharing experiences.
They'll come back at you.
Yeah, sharing experiences. So you did. Now, how many times did you do this? You were doing 15 days of fasting.
I do it on a regular basis. I have people coming from all over the world. Ordinary people, just people who work in like a cheese factory, steel factory, people who don't know much. The fear factor is something that they're, especially US, Russia, China, the big countries, they have this fear factor because so many people are competing for the same issues. This fear of not being able to do things, like somebody with no education, somebody with more education, it actually makes no difference. But that fear of not being able to be yourself, something just...
Oh, sorry, that's my shoe.
I wonder if the mouse were listening to it.
My shoe hit him on the foot.
So the idea is to see that you basically are infallible. You can do whatever you want, go beyond whatever you want, do whatever you want, but understand the powers and trust in the universe that you acquire when you actually do this. This is the path, the path that's not known, the path that's not mapped out, and it's very, very, I can't go into, we're live on the Torah.
Not live.
Okay, because most of my work is in the Torah. You obviously know what that means. So I have 1 million people. I do extreme things in the Torah. But this dry fast is something that's moving so quickly, veganism also. So this is for the young people to understand that they have unlimited power. Forget governments, forget religion, it's not going to help you at all. We know that. If we're a little bit different or a little bit odd and we're outside of the Fortune 500, whatever it is, it's very difficult for us to exist. So understand that we can achieve anything. There's no way in a million years we would have met unless this was going to happen. It's that simple. And we met because of circumstances like this. So the idea is fear factor. The first thing that happens to you, which is unusual, after 4 or 5 days, you don't go to the bathroom. You don't... Nothing. And this is an interesting experience because the first reaction for the first day is either retention or what's the opposite to diarrhea? Constipation.
Okay, yeah.
And then once you realize, I've been caught in a trap here, really caught in a trap here. Why did I put myself through this, and it's just, I'm wasted. And then you come to the real fear factor. I remember, everybody remembers, why is everybody scared of not drinking? Why is everybody easy with food?
Well, and they tell us that our body is mainly water, so we think we have to drink water, but no?
It doesn't matter. The body is limited to what it is. The mind is what's limited to what it is. I tell you the history of this young boy. I met him by chance. I was doing some work in the Kirov, choreography work in Moscow. This is to do with Tchaikovsky and ballet, Swan Lake and Nutcracker Swing. I just happened to be there because my father's a big investor in this. And I'm in charge actually. He's left his body recently. So I'm working there and completely out of the blue, one woman who saw me here, because I don't travel so much. If I do, it's a few days maximum. And it's a hassle traveling for me.
Yeah.
So she said, meet this man. He's already seen you. He came to see, I'd already finished Nutcracker, the Swan Lake. I was working with black swans instead of white swans, just to see the reaction of the audience, quite positive in Russia. And anyway, I went, to cut a long story short, he's a simple farm boy, literally a simple farm boy, absolutely simple. So one day they had a really bad storm, like what's happening in Moscow now. Ice rain for 3 days, full winds, very cold. That's the type of situation. He was on a, how do you say it, like electric thing.
Okay.
I don't know what the word is, but we'd have to find out at one point. Generator, not a generator, but
like one that's like out in the country
yeah,
somewhere,
like that.
Like a power
yeah, one of the
thing,
grid or something. It's a word that should be put into it. he was working, that everything was, power was off completely. He was just getting it ready for when it came back because of some lightning or something. A wrench or spanner fell on the platform. It's just about 20 meters high apparently. So the spanner fell on the floor below. He's not thinking, he's a simple boy. He's 17, 18 maybe. He goes down as soon as he lands. Obviously his history, he gets blown into nothing and lands on the ground 10 meters below, which is high. You're going to have damage whatever you are. Skydivers even will get something under 10 meters, and he didn't expect it. Anyway, he was on the ground, and to cut a long story short, after 4 or 5 days, usually your body goes into some weirdness. It starts to smell, and in medical school it's called the Gadaver. You see this horrible, it's horrible. It stinks, and it's like scary, dead body, you know. But the epidermis, the skin, wasn't changing. After 36 days, everybody came.
But he was dead.
He was dead physically. Like there was no breathing, no pulse, and nothing. He was literally dead, but he wasn't dead at all. Far from it. So anyway, there's two women who are on the farm. They're sage healers. These people are really powerful in Moscow, Russia. They heal with sage. Sometimes they light it and the fumes. Actually, Ethiopia knows about this also. The shamans, some of the shamans in Ethiopia, Haile Selassie, he's used honey with this. And, anyway, they knew he wasn't dead because they're living on another plane. I didn't know. For me, I had no idea what was going on when I heard the story.
Right.
I'm like everybody else, I know nothing. And then everybody was going to put him in the box, the normal stuff. And they started screaming, and then they remembered this one movie they saw about a paramedic. So that was it. So that actually opened an eyelid, some eyelid, and that was how it started. So they knew, everybody knew he wasn't dead. He may be comatose or NFL, you know, like the Super Bowl, somebody got put out of action yesterday. Blah, blah, blah. They're out for a couple of days. And it's like that. Some come back, some don't. He came back, and the two girls were allowed to take him to the house, and they gave him the worst food possible, maybe porridge and watery, salty stuff, you know, what you don't want. Every day he threw up. And then after 10 days, 15 days, 50 days altogether, he just suddenly stood up, and, like me and you. So, by the way, I've been through this experience myself only 6 months ago.
And so meaning he stood up and he's
just carried on. No food now, 7 or 8 years ago. No food, no water. But my main teacher in India isn't eaten for 60 or 70 years. It's very possible.
Now, no food. Now, okay, now, by the way, I saw a documentary. Now, this was a while ago. And there was a man who was in India, and he was saying that he never eats, never drinks. And then they found out, like, he got caught, like, at some restaurant having a tally, which was really embarrassing.
Oh, what?
He got caught having, like, a tally.
Well, that's a bit silly, isn't it?
And, I know it is, but, like, apparently he was quite well known in the community, and everyone thought he didn't eat or drink.
There's a lot of scams. I mean, you can, if you're looking for it, you'll find every scam in the world here. Forget LA, it's there here. Indians are smart. They know how to, especially the ones with the beards and things like that. They know how to take money off people.
But you're saying that, okay, so of course there are scams. There are people scamming with everything.
Proof everybody knows I had cancer. I couldn't even walk.
Right.
And now you can see I'm 77 years of age.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I still want to talk more about, like, no eating and no water. It's like a real
mindset.
stretch of the imagination. Okay.
Roman, it's a mindset. Mindset.
So what is the mindset?
The mindset is what you believe.
Meaning you have to have the mindset of, I do not need water or food to survive.
If you go back to LA and you start telling what you've seen, they'll have doubts. They'll have doubts. If you go into a normal community and you tell them you're vegan, they'll have doubts. I mean, they have doubts. You know, it's a mindset. It's a mindset. All it is a mindset.
And so your mindset, how would you describe your mindset surrounding food and water?
I'm indifferent to it. Right now I'm indifferent because I know that what I take on is limitless because it's not what you're looking at that's doing the work. We're going deeper now. The universe, the divine power, the faith that I have in the Supreme is doing all this now. And it's just moving me through different consciousnesses. We're getting deeper. So it's like this. But we started, before you know it, you'll realize something about me and you, like this, why we're talking like this. So it's a mindset like this.
Well, now, how long have you been on this path in total?
We're told through Darwinian consciousness, which is not very bright, that we've been here 2, 3, 4, 5, we've been here hundreds of thousands of years. We've always been here. We've always been here, 3 or 4 different races of people.
But I meant, like, how long have you been doing the not so much eating or drinking water?
I've always, when I was younger, I stayed with my mother. My father was always doing his diplomatic stuff. This is normal, he's a businessman. So my mother took care of me and my brother and my sister. But I always knew from quite a young age that I wasn't so interested in eating things that I didn't need to eat, like animals. I saw them in the wild and I saw that they weren't harming anybody. So even when I was 5 or 6, is it you or me?
I think that's you. We can do a quick little pause.
Wrong number. So it's like that. It's like, what is the one thing that makes the world different? Everybody has an. If you go to Vegas and throw the dice, and everybody gets a number, and it's
right.
God. It's called God. You'll have a different opinion, he'll have a different opinion, she'll have a different opinion, the transgender will have a different opinion, everybody, one word. So why is God so diverse? Does God exist? Probably not, but we exist in the idea that God is our guide. But in reality, we just look at poverty in Africa and then we see the riches in North, the Bay Area, for instance. There is a doubt about God in many, many different ways. But it's a mindset. I'm talking, but I don't have to believe what I'm actually saying deep down. But everything's a mindset. When I heard Alex said, you do this to get rid of cancer. And, at first I was, I knew I wasn't going to do chemotherapy. That
right.
is black and white. I mean, that's obvious. Yeah. You put that in your head in the oven and it's raw pizza and you're dead. Whether you live or die, you're watching CNN for the rest of your life, zombie-eyed, And so I listened to it and I really felt that connection, that faith in my heart. And this suddenly started to change the idea about, okay, let's give it a try. It's like, this is the most extreme try I've ever had.
Right.
From teenage boys who grow up and you go through trials and tribulations to prove you can do it, or blah, 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 manhood, femalehood, whatever. But when I first started doing it, he was with me, so I had a really good guide. We really like each other anyway, we're really good friends. And that mindset of things that I like, like fruit salad, whatever.
Yeah.
Fruit, something nice. And it kept on coming up in the mind, but it wasn't real. I began to realize that there was something else, And then slowly it started he said, just focus on the heart, and just focus on breathing. And before I knew it, 15 days were gone, and I didn't want to stop. And what I do now, apart from obviously my 5 and 4-year-old daughters, they're almost 6 actually. All the rest, my oldest is almost 50, like this. They have different mothers. I didn't want one mother having 9 children. That's ridiculous, it's going backwards. But they've all done this now. And my 3 oldest sons really becoming very clear about their endeavor in the world. They're very aware of the illusion of this world. At the same time, if they're strong enough, they can go through this world and see what's needed for them and the people around them, slowly moving certain energy levels and, backing away from, especially in America now, they're fighting each other on the street, left and right. And it's like women and men are fighting on the street, left and right. And it's like, why?
Right.
When we should be one. And we are one, we're one.
Now,
simple,
yeah, and I mean, when you mentioned that people have the right mindset, I guess I wonder, have you come across people that have tried this and haven't done so well?
Absolutely. They're totally freaked out because they come here. I have two girls, one in Belgium and one in Queensland, in Brisbane. They take orders like this. They tell them what to do, blah, 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 and are you epileptic or whatever? They go through a few teeny things because now it's getting big. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are very interested in what I'm doing, not only me, but now I've got teachers who can do this, but it's all word of mouth. I don't advertise jack shit. I don't advertise nothing in my entire life. I've always word of mouth. If it works, hurry bob, like this. And it does work. And for people, a lot of people are curious, it's like, I don't know, uni break. You're looking for something different, for the break, the spring break, that's what it's called, something like that. It's still a little bit different because now I've got some big schools, and actually I eventually graduated from Rhode Island Brown University, so I have an Ivy League mentality anyway. But it's interesting, what people can achieve, and it's like meditation. They're totally in their mind. I mean, they sit there and it's like they don't know what they're doing. I'm being nice and satsang. How many times you need to hear? You got to do this. You got to do that. You can't do it. You can't do it. If you can do it, do it. But don't keep going for 20 years. You know what I mean? So this is, you're not a student all your life, and it just works. There are people that are not going to feel this.
Yeah.
They're going to freak out just simply because they can do it 7 days a lot. Then this fear really comes. And when I'm doing this, I never do, by the way, couples. I do them individually. It's better doing this on your own. Otherwise, you're looking at each other. It's like, the movie's no good. Shut up.
And when you say it works, like what does it work at doing?
I'm a living example of that.
So it works at healing.
It's good. It's positive. I mean, I had skin cancer because I was on boards in LA and Hawaii, just surfing very young. So, I call it skin cancer, but it's just nothing. It's just part of me. But the cancer in the body is gone completely. And I've had good tests and everything.
And I guess I wonder, why dry fasting? Why not water fasting or juice fasting?
You can do that as well, but this one is more depth. Because the idea of cancer, when I did this, was not to put anything in the body. It was to let all the poison come out of the body. And you'd be surprised. You may be a vegan now, but you'd be surprised how many burgers went in there when you was 8, 9 years of age, especially in Ethiopia. Like this.
Well, now here's the question, though. When you say the poisons come out, but if you're not going to the bathroom, I guess I would wonder, how do the poisons come out?
Well, they come out like through the epidermis, through the pores.
Okay.
You can smell it sometimes. By the way, I don't use detergent. I haven't used detergent for a long time. No, I'm okay.
It doesn't stink.
Yeah, I smell okay.
Yeah. I'm sitting right here, and let me tell you, I can't say that for everyone that I encounter here traveling. Yeah. But no smell. So.
Yeah. If I'm working on my bike, obviously the chain breaks, then I have to use some soap. But I don't need, to bath in soap. Water's enough. It's not. And sunshine is big too.
I'll say, there is really something too that the scent comes from impurities, because I did one time, maybe this is TMI, but here we go. But at one point I did 3 colonics in a week and a half. and took some herbs at the same time. And I'm telling you, my armpits had no scent for well over 6 months. And it felt like a
How
miracle.
did your body feel? I did some of this many years ago. How did you feel?
Honestly, I felt similar. I didn't feel so different, because I do generally try to eat pretty cleanly, but I was just shocked. I mean, I felt a bit lighter, but I don't think I generally feel too heavy, but I was just stunned, and literally I had no sense. I could run a marathon, anything, sweat as much as I want, no scent under my arms.
This water fast would suit your body too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Vata type body.
I really wanted to do a fast for a while now. I do them often when I'm in LA, but I usually do juice fasting.
Yeah,
I've
this
never
is
done.
what smoothie or lassi, things like this. 6 o'clock you fast, but the way it's set up in the West, it's like, because I have land, they're quite happy picking the tops of the roses for the malas. Now I grow in peanuts. It's like Georgia. I feel like I'm in Georgia,
Right.
And the peanuts, they have no idea the peanuts are in the ground. They think they're in the supermarket,
I think they just come from a peanut fairy. I don't know.
Yeah, and people don't know the leaves of the peanuts. I use it for tea. It's very good. So I take advantage of everything. So they plow in like woofing, but
Right.
they, lay back. And I don't push anybody to do anything. If somebody wants to eat, which is rare,
Yeah.
and in my house, you come to my house, there's no food or water, no refrigeration, nothing.
And you'll have a little something, but just not often. Every 15 days, maybe a snack. Or it's not a
That's
set schedule.
arbitrary. It's like I don't need to eat, but sometimes socially, people come.
And I do find that, I do think we're told that a lot of things are really unhealthy that are healthy. I don't know personally about dry fasting. I've never tried it. But people would even say that juice fasting is unhealthy. And I know that for me and my body and my experience, it's not even remotely true.
But it's interesting actually, because the grape, you take a grape, not a green grape, that's usually GM, but a black grape, the seeds in the black grape are more valuable by far than the rest put together. What do you do with the seeds? The same with
Throw
papaya.
those right out.
Right, same thing.
The papaya seeds are so bitter.
I know,
I've heard they're
but that's
good
why
for
you need to put it in your body. They're
Yeah.
sweet and sour. Yeah.
Let me tell you what I do with the papaya. I scrape those seeds, boom, throw
I
them
don't
right out.
I don't like them either. I just
Yeah.
had a papaya a few days ago.
Yeah.
The seeds are too intense for me.
They are intense.
But if you mash them up with a mortar and pestle, then you can put a little
Okay.
bit of, whatever,
them in,
olive
yeah.
oil or something. Some windows.
Oh my God, I feel like this is an amazing. I feel like I'm taking it all in.
This interview is for you.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's for me.
Yeah.
It's for all of us.
You can play this back.
Do you have any final thoughts for me, for anyone?
Just take care of your body. I mean, there's so much grace and love and trust. If you have trust in the divine, whatever that is, whether you know what it is or not, it'll come to you. Total faith. If you have total faith in the divine, this thing here opens up. This we have to be careful of because we know it's inconsistent. This one, Mummy says, never follow your heart, but Mummy's wrong. It's beautiful. Surrender to the love in your heart, and eventually it works. And then you don't need this so much as you do. Here, it's a very laid-back community. When you're running around, no energy in the currency, the currents, and you see. Eventually it comes back. Now we're doing the film, doing the movie.
All right, so I'm going to follow my heart and
Just be aware.
Trust.
Just be aware of yourself. And we're all equal. There is only one. It's only oneness. And some big joker in the sky with a trident is playing games with us. We just enjoy his love and shower. Trust in the Supreme. This is it. Whether you know what the Supreme is or not, it comes. If you have that superior trust, it's beautiful. If you don't have that faith and trust, nothing can happen for you. And you're here. This mountain, we haven't spoke about that. When I felt the power of this, I put everything on the back burner.
we're in Tiruvannamalai and the mountain is like a fire mountain, very holy, brings a lot of people here. So.
Absolutely, perfect way of saying it.
All right, that was a fascinating chat. I'm always happy to hear other people's perspectives and to get a little glimpse into what other people are doing and hear about their life. So there's more of that coming up from here in India and also from other countries abroad. So stay tuned and make sure you subscribe. I'll catch you later.